The following is an independently produced program. The views expressed within are not necessarily the views of WAVS Radio, its staff, or management, but are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers.
Financial Literacy is an educational program which airs on Waves 1170 every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Hosted by Hubert McIntosh, a CPA and member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with the number one goal, assist individuals to take charge of their personal finances. Please join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. on 1170 a.m. or via your smartphone app, Waves 1170, or on the internet at waves1170.com. Waves 1170.
1170 a.m. It's Sunday night in the Caribbean, man. Hubert McIntosh is a member of the Society for Financial Awareness, and he's the man.
Financial Literacy provided by Hubert McIntosh,
CPA.
Financial Literacy. Control your financial status.
Here's your host, Hubert McIntosh, CPA.
Good evening, good Sunday evening to you. Thank you for joining us another night. Oh my gosh, July 1st. Oh, we are celebrating our 6-month anniversary. I don't know if that's what it's called, but we started on January 1st, and here we are now, July 1st, bringing financial literacy to you. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, and a member of SOFA. SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with one goal: to help eradicate financial illiteracy in America, one community at a time. And I have started with this community, so I want to give each and every one of you a special thanks. Some of you have been with us since January 1st. I thank you very much. Some have come on later than that, but I thank each and every one of you. We have been getting great feedback where people are thanking us for the program, in the sense that, they are learning so much, their lives are changing. And even the sad part of it, some have shared with us that if they knew what they have been learning since this year, their life would have been different. So what we're hoping is that you won't be one of those. You will hear it and you will take action. So we just thank you. We just thank you for joining us. So we are in the studio. 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. And as you know, we are here Sundays 9 to 10. But you have 24/7 access to us. Yes, you have 24/7 access. You can visit us on the web, financialliteracy.info. Financialliteracy.info. And you can link us from there. We have our media pages. We have Facebook. We have Twitter. You can share and share us. Share us with your family and friends. Don't keep us a secret. Go on there, like our page, share the page, And for financialliteracy.info, since I've mentioned to you that we have been on for 6 months, so that means what? Approximately four shows per month. So we have like 24 shows. And guess what, guys? All the shows have been recorded. So if you go on financialliteracy.info, you just go under the services tab, and oh my, you can listen to the past recording of any show that you have missed. The listing is there, the topic is there. You can just click on it. You don't have to download anything. You just go right in and you just listen. And you can email us if you have any questions. Support@financialliteracy.info. Support@financialliteracy.info. And we're in the studio now, 954-792-1170. But if you have any questions that you don't want to come live on the air, you have access. You can call me directly, 754 754-366-7311. 754-366-7311. Oh my gosh, it's exciting. I want to give another shout out. I want to thank you guys who visited us in West Palm Beach this past Tuesday and Wednesday. We put on 2 college workshops, and oh my, we have made a difference in the 2 nights in over 60 families. The first night we had like 38 families, and the next night we had like 28 or 29, something like that. So we are making a difference in providing this education. And I there's something else I gotta share with you. Last week I mentioned to you, last week we spoke about refinancing 101. And remember, Miss Lisa Lander, our mortgage specialist, joined us, so she gave us some great insights there on refinancing, because, there are a lot of confusion out there regarding refinancing. Well, the entire program that we have, there will be confusion, because you know what caused confusion. Confusion is caused by ignorance. If you don't know something, you're gonna be confused. So our goal is to provide you with that education so you can either eliminate or minimize the confusion. So tonight we're gonna talk about college planning. So get your pen, get your paper. Yes, it's Sunday. So we are in Sunday school. So get your pen, get your paper. We are going to give you some information. And tonight it's very imperative that you have your pen and paper, because regarding the college planning, we're going to give you some formulas that it's necessary for you to know for college planning. But last week, remember, I shared with you that 2 weeks ago, I was with SOFA in New Orleans. We had a trade show. It's the SHRM trade show. That's the Society for Human Resources and Management. And there were like between 15 and 17,000 attendees. And SOFA had a booth, and I was one of the person manning that booth, where we were sharing information with different people from all over the world, not just America. There were people from the Bahamas, there were people from Jamaica, there were people from France. So that's what I shared with you last week. But remember, we did not get the full report yet, because, at a trade show, sometimes people will come to a booth and they will show interest, but you're not sure if the interest is genuine or it's just superficial. But let me tell you, I am so happy to report we have been flooded in the SOFA office. I mean, governments of different countries. This government, we have been getting requests from Department of Justice, Homeland Security, yes, the FBI, universities. Guess what? To come and teach their employees financial literacy. So tonight I am tickled pink, because I'm telling you, the feedback that has been coming, the ministries from Jamaica, Ministry of Energy, University of West Indies in Jamaica is requesting that SOFA provides financial literacy. So it's an exciting moment. So I had to share that with you, so thank you. So tonight we're going to talk about college planning. So we are hoping to clear up some of the confusion. But as you know, I already told you, Sunday nights, 9 to 10, I don't know why, but it happens to be the fastest hour of the week. It's the fastest. I don't know why. It's the fastest hour. So we have a lot of materials to cover. So I'm just going to dive right into it. Remember, we are in the studio, so you can call us. We can answer your question. 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. And one more thing before we get in. I want to let you know about next week's program. Next week, we're going to revisit a program. I think we may have done it 2-3 months ago, but people have been requesting it. Life Insurance and You. We're going to do that program, Life Insurance and You, because here's what's happening. And let me tell you why. There are a lot of confusion regarding life insurance. Life insurance 40 years ago is different from life insurance this time. Because remember what happened 40 years ago. 1974, ERISA. ERISA is the Employee Retirement Income Securities Act. So what happened? ERISA created 401ks and IRAs. So what was happening at that period of time? Then the insurance company was losing market share to Wall Street. So the insurance company have gone into their books and they have modified a lot of insurance vehicles. So it's the same thing you have heard me explain to you. 1986 was the first time there was cellular phone. And I remember the first cellular phone was a Motorola brick phone. I happen to know it because I was the accountant at a company that provided mobile phone. And we had that Motorola phone. It was called a Motorola brick. It was like in a little attache case. And believe it or not, do you know that phone was about $3,500? That was 1986. Look what has happened to the phone industry. At that time, that Motorola phone, cellular phone, could only do one of two things. It could receive call or call out. That's the only thing it could have done. And it was $3,500. But what has happened in the mobile phone industry? If you don't have a smartphone, you're almost left behind. The phone now is not even a phone, it's a computer. So let's look at that. So if in 30 years there has been such an evolution in the mobile business, well, I am here to tell you the same evolution has happened in the insurance business. Things are evolving. I was with a friend yesterday and he was sharing with me what has even happened in the transportation business regarding FedEx, UPS, USPS, the Postal Service, Amazon. He was sharing with me that Amazon has changed up the system so much that if you're not delivering products fast enough, you're going to get left behind with Amazon. So he was sharing with me that Amazon used to use other carriers. Amazon now is using their own plane. Folks, so what am I saying with all of that? What you thought you knew 40 years ago. So you know the saying, I keep telling it to you. If what you thought to be true, was not so, when would you want to know? And I am going to assume you would want to know now. So next week, mark your calendar for that, July 8th, we're going to revisit life insurance and you. But tonight, that's not what it is. Tonight, we're going into college planning. So a couple of questions come up when you start with college planning. The first question anyone asks, how much? How much will I need? It's the first question. How much will I need? And you know, how much will I need? Or the next question is, how much do I want to pay? Because here's the challenge. Sometimes what you want to pay is not what you need. So right away you see this conflict, because colleges now are averaging, 4-year colleges are averaging, state universities are averaging 20 to 25,000. Private is averaging 40 to 50,000. So right away there, you're dealing with that. 20 to 25, 40 to 50. So the question is, if you were not prepared to pay that, then you're going to have a challenge. So that is some of those things that we're going to, that is what we're going to address tonight. So if when you identify that, okay, if my child goes to a state college, I'm going to need 20 to 25,000. And this is 20 to 25,000 per year. Per year. I'm not talking about 20, 25,000 over the period. 20 to 25,000 per year. So the question then, because there's another follow-up question now, is where will the money come from? Where will the money come from? Because we have to deal with the elephant in the room. Where will the money come from? A lot of families, let me tell you what's happening. A lot of families are banking on scholarships. They're saying my child is a whiz kid. Okay? All right. Congratulations. They're saying my child is a top athlete in school. Congratulations again. But here's the challenge, folks. Here's the challenge. If you're in South Florida, if your child is a top athlete, remember, this scholarships is not being measured by South Florida standard. It's measured internationally. And why do I say internationally? Because you're saying, what, am I just talking about United States? No. Remember, we get people outside of the country and we give them scholarships. So don't kid yourself thinking that the scholarship is just for people who live in the United States. Come on, you guys watch the Olympics. You watch, you see that where you hear an athlete running for Oregon State or running for University of Florida. And then when you look, that person is not from the United States. They're from another country. So the competition is stiff. So I'm not just going to leave it loosely. So every year, there are $245 billion allocated to financial aid. And I wish I could ask each of you this question, but I'm going to ask you. So you think yourself, how much of that $245 billion you think is for scholarships? Okay, I know you're guessing. Some of you saying all kind of things. Well, 2%. 2% of the $245 billion is allocated to scholarship. So what am I saying there? Competition is intense. There are no guarantees with scholarship. And let's ask yourself this question. Just because your child, yes, it's your child, it's a nice child. Just because your child apply for a scholarship, is there any guarantee they're going to get it? So that's part of the challenge. So 2% goes to scholarship. All right, let's move further then. Student employment. So here it is now, student employment. So you say to yourself, okay, all right, to help fund it, my child is going to work part-time. But here's the stumbling block again. If that child is getting any other type of financial aid, you think that child can work as much as they want? No. Financial aid is going to limit where that child can work probably between 10 and 20 hours per week. Yes, 10 and 20 hours. So it's not a case where you're saying, well, my child is energetic and my child is willing. No, it does not work like that. It does not work like that. So I just want you to be aware. I just want you to be aware of those things. So that's work. All right, let's deal with the big gorilla and the big elephant in the room now. So we're going to say, okay, we can get grants. So here our Grants is coming to the rescue. Folks, it's not as easy as it looks. I shared in one of the workshop this week. We had 2 workshops. We had one Tuesday and we had Wednesday. And I kind of dated myself. When I came to this country, I first went to college. I started at Miami-Dade Community. At that time, it was Miami-Dade Community College. And when I applied for Pell Grant, it was the easiest thing. I signed up the paper, I got my award letter, and I got my money. But here's the thing. That was 1982. Pell Grant started in the 70s. So at that time, the competition was less. There were less than 50% of people applying for Pell Grant. So when you apply for Pell Grant, you were automatic because there was funding. There was money in it. That was 1982, so I'm dating myself. So fast forward, oh my gosh, 35 years. I cannot believe it. You know, I have a daughter, 35-year-old. Fast forward now, 2017. What has happened? The competition has increased. What's the main reason why competition has increased? There's a main reason. It's not just the economy. It's not just the economy what the competition has increased. What has happened in the industry is that employers are requiring more. Employers are requiring more from candidates. So for you to even get an interview, not even an interview, for them to even look at your child's your application for the job, the first thing they're measuring is, do you have a college degree? Do you have a college degree? So what has happened? So because the requirement of a college degree has increased so much, then put yourself in that employer's position. Here it is. You have 5 candidates with a bachelor's degree, and you have 5 with none. Do you know what those employers are doing? I'm just being real with you. They're taking the application that has no bachelor's degree and they're just trashing it. So that has increased the competition. So now the simple law of economics now take place. Because here's the thing, and sometimes someone will say, can the government fix it? Can the university fix it? It cannot be fixed. It cannot be fixed because it's economics. And here is the economics that we're dealing with. Supply versus demand. It's an economic supply versus demand. So here it is. Take, for instance, University of Florida. I went to University of Florida. If University of Florida is taking 15,000 freshmen, if University of Florida is taking 15,000 freshmen and 40,000 apply, do you see where the supply and demand is? That is the challenge, folks. So what has happened then, because so many people are going to college and attempt to go to college, Pell Grant, there is a restriction on it. There's not enough funding. The average grant now is $5,500. $5,500. So let's do the math. So the school is $25,000. The grant is $5,500. So right away, you know of a shortfall of $20,000. So you're going to say, okay, all right, we can get loan. We can get loans. All right, so you're going to get, so the first loan you can get then is a Stafford loan. You can get a Stafford loan, but Stafford loan has 2 types. It has subsidized and unsubsidized. But here's the problem again now. The average you can get for Stafford loan is $5,500. So let's do the math. Remember, I told you to take your pen and paper because we're doing some math together. So you get the grant for $5,500. So you get the loan for $5,500. So now you're at $11,000, right? We're doing the math. So then you're going to say, well, the child is going to do the work program also. But guess what now? The work program maxes out somewhere around about $3,000. So you have $11,000 now plus $3,000, you're at $14,000. What's the cost? What did I say was the cost? $25,000. So you have $14,000. You have $14,000. That's what you have gotten. But the cost is $25,000. So what's the challenge? Okay, there is another grant that a lot of people don't hear about because it's kind of hard to get, in the sense that the person almost have to be in poverty. It's now a federal supplemental grant. It's a FSEOG. It's a supplemental grant for very, very poor people. So you have that challenge. So these are some of the stuff you're dealing with. So we talk about the loans. So we are still now at loans. So you got now 14,000, right? But you needed 25. There is one other loan. And listen to me. Listen to me, family. Listen to me, friends. I want you to write this down. Family Plus. That's the name of the loan. Family Plus. Plus. That's uppercase. Put Family Plus equal bad. Family Plus equal bad. I don't want you to forget this, because when you have that $11,000 shortfall, the first thing the financial aid office is going to tell you is that you can get a Family Plus loan. And because you don't understand what a Family Plus loan is, you're so excited that you have now filled the shortfall for your child, because you're going to get the $11,000. So you didn't even bother to ask the interest rate. Right now, the Family Plus loan is 6.2% variable. Variable, don't forget this. Variable interest, 6.2% variable interest. And so you got the Stafford and you heard that it's subsidized, that you can pay it later. Listen, the Family Plus loan, oh no, you have to pay this in 10 years. You don't have this deferral where you're gonna defer it. So Family Plus equal bad. And as I told you before, that the fastest hour is 9 to 10 on a Sunday night. So you know I gotta break. I gotta pay some bills. But you stick and stay. The lines are open. We'll be coming right back. It's 954-792-1170. So stick and stay. We will be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking and staying. Oh my gosh. Half of the show has gone. It just flew by. But thank you for staying with us. We're in the studio, 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. We're here Sundays 9 to 10. But remember, we are on the web. Financialliteracy.info. Financialliteracy.info. And we have a Facebook page. So you go there, you can just click, take you directly to Facebook. Like our page. Please don't keep us a secret. Like the page, share the page with your family and friends. Yes, we have Twitter also. So yes, there's a lot of stories about Twitter. Yeah, we do have Twitter. So you can tweet and we'll tweet back with you. And you can email us support@financialliteracy.info, support@financialliteracy.info. And please remember, on the website financialliteracy.info, if you go under the services tab, the recordings of previous shows are there. So you'll go there and something we have spoken about so many things. Last week, we spoke about refinancing 101. The week before, we spoke about Social Security, long-term care, Medicare. We even had a show 401, comparing the 401k with the IRA. We have done so many different. We talk about mortgages. Yes. We even talk about Mother's Day. We gave you a special show. We talk about investing for women. And somebody asks, why would you have a show separate for investing for women? Well, on that day, we wanted to give mothers a special plug, but it's not just that. Remember, the statistics showing that women are living. The actuarial table right now, it says that a man is expected to live to 81 years old. But on the same token, the woman is expected to live till 88. So she has 7 more years. So can you imagine if the man and the woman had the same plan? What do you think would happen at 81? At 81, the woman would have run out of money. So that woman need to plan to live longer than that 81. So it's showing 88. And remember, I share a statistic with you. Remember, you can Google it. Remember, everything I tell you, you can check me out. It says by the year 2050, that's 33 years from now. By the year 2050, there will be 4 million centenarians. 4 million people who are more than 100 years old. Can you imagine if that woman money ran out at 81? She's now 100? Folks, I don't even want to try and imagine that. And that is why I'm bringing this because I don't want you to be in that debacle. I don't want you to be, because it says FINRA did a study 2 years ago that 74% of Americans were financially illiterate. Do you think that percentage has gone down or gone up? Well, I'm telling you, I am venturing that 74% has gone to 80%. People are financially illiterate. But what my goal is for this community is that we are going to be able to brag that we are not in that percentage, because that is why we do what we do. That is why we bring financial literacy to you. That's why we provide this program to you, so that we can serve you. We can address these questions for you. All those financial questions. Yes, I know you can go search on the internet, but sometimes it's a time to search, and sometimes it's to know what to search for, because you're going to get 3 million pages. When you get 3 million pages of something, how do you even navigate through that? That's just create more confusion. So you know what you do? You just shut it down. But we are bringing this program to you every Sunday night. We are making ourselves accessible to you. So I just want to point that out, So let's go back. I know I left you guys on the other side of the break with a little shocker, because people who have done Parents Plus will tell you, but you'll go and you'll hear Parent Plus is a saver. Let me tell you, Parent Plus is not a savior, because you go there and you think it's a savior. You get this variable loan and it's 6.2%. So it's 6.2% for the fall semester. Guess what happened? If you have a shortage in the fall semester, you think you're going to have a shortage in the winter semester? I guarantee you're going to have a shortage. So you're thinking that, okay, well, I can get Parent Plus loan. So the winter semester come, you get the Parent Plus loan. But the interest rate that you had for the fall semester might have been 6.2%. And now you find that it's 6.9%. And it's not deferred. It's not like the Stafford loan, which is subsidized, the deferral part of it. This loan is a 10-year loan, and every time you take it out, that payment is adding. So the payment you had for the fall semester, now you have the payment for the winter semester, it's added. And folks, it just goes, and the clock just goes, and it just keeps adding, keeps adding. We have had counterparts where people take out these loans and the loan reach where they're paying $3,000 a month. $3,000. And you're like, that's impossible. Yes, you're saying that now, because remember, all the calculations that we were doing with the 25,000 and the 50,000, that is for one child. One child. What about the people who have 3 children that's a year and a half apart, where 3 of them going through college at the same time? Folks, it's not a pretty situation. It's not a pretty situation. So let's go back a little. I want to go back to grants because I need to share this with you. Every financial aid, I don't care what it is, scholarship, loans, grant, every financial aid starts with FAFSA. Everybody has to complete a FAFSA form. Everybody. So you may say, but Hubert, what's wrong with that? Everybody has to complete it. Yes, you complete it. Oh my gosh, you don't realize what you're going to do with this FAFSA form. First of all, what we're getting from some of the survey we're getting, missing deadlines, making mistakes. What is happening with it? When you fill out that FAFSA form, and if there's an error on the FAFSA form, you're thinking, you think somebody's going to call you and says, Miss Mary, you made a mistake. You can just correct it? No. That form is being sent back to you to correct. That form is being sent back to you to correct. So when the form comes and you correct that form and you send it back, guess what now? It's late. It's late. So sometimes you miss the deadlines. This is what people are saying. And for private colleges now, some of the private colleges, you do a CSS profile. You do a CSS profile, but the CSS profile comes after FAFSA. Yeah, you have to do the FAFSA first. So you're saying all of that now. So here's another formula. I'm going to give you a formula. I've kept you hanging long enough. So I'm going to give you another formula. How is the need measured for the grant? How is the need? It is measured. So here's this formula. Write down this formula and then I'm going to explain it to you. FN equal COA minus EFC. So FN equal COA minus EFC. Oh my gosh, I've just messed you up. No, I'm going to clear it up. FN is family need. Family need. That is what the family need. So what it is, how you get the family need, it's the cost of attendance minus EFC, expected family contribution. So what they're saying, for you to get the grant, what they do, they calculate what's the cost of attendance for your child. And if the cost of attendance is $25,000, just using that number, and if they calculate your expected expected family contribution to be 20,000, then you'd have a problem, because your family need is is 5,000, and you can get that in a grant, because remember I said to you, with the grant you're getting 5,500. But here's the problem. If the expected family contribution is 0, and you may say, oh my gosh, Hubert, you're being ridiculous. Why would it be 0? No, you have some families, let's keep it real. You have some families that's not going to be able to contribute anything because of their income level. So what happened for them, because their family contribution is 0, they are going to get the maximum grant. They're going to get the maximum. And this is where this thing gets so intricate, because you may have 2 universities, right? You may have 2 universities where one university, so let's use a number. Say if the family need is 15,000. Let's put a number to it. And you may say, but if the family need is 15,000, it's 15,000. But you may have one university that will make up 100%. They will grant this to the child 100% for the family need. While you have another university where it's 50%. So in other words, a university will discount that, where you're going to get the 7,500, but the family still needs to come up with that extra 7,500. And I know I'm throwing a lot at you. This is just a confusing topic. That's what's going on. But I want you to remember. You remember that part I said to you? Sometimes you wonder why one family get a certain amount of grant and the other one did not. Here's the thing. You see that 3-letter? That 3-letter, it's not a word, it's a 3-letter abbreviation. EFC. It's called expected family contribution. And sometimes you're like, oh, do they calculate it? Well, they calculate your expected family contribution based on your assets. Based on your assets. So some of you may have so much equity in your home. Here it is. You make a sacrifice. You save, and you have developed equity in your home. And then the government use the equity against you to say, well, because you have equity in your home, you're not going to get the grant, because they're going to say, because you have the equity, you can contribute. Do you see what's going on? This is what's going on. So what is important? Important is how your assets are positioned. How your assets are positioned is going to make a big difference, because there is another abbreviation, and I know I'm throwing a lot at you. There is another abbreviation called APA. It's called Asset Protection Allowance. So that's why I told you, get your pen and paper. APA, Asset Protection Allowance. And this is determined by the Department of Education. So what the Department of Education says, if you have a certain amount of equity, or your net worth is so much, you should be able to give a percentage of that for the college need. So then you ask, okay, that's fair, but here's the challenge. But what if that equity you had was the equity that you were structuring for your retirement? Do you see what is happening now? So you now are taking the money out of your retirement to fund the college. But here's the challenge. So you now are going to live to 100 years old, but because you took your retirement money is short. So now you're going to have a problem. So you're thinking you're solving the college problem, but solving the college problem create a retirement problem. Folks, do you see what's going on here? Remember that statistic that I shared with you? And it's sad for me to even share this other part. 4 million people are going to be centenarians. 4 million. 4 million. You know the sad part? 99% would have run out of money. 99% has no money. No money. So ask yourself this question. What's going to happen to those people who don't have any money? Do you see why we're bringing financial literacy to you? Because we don't want it to be in this community. Because as we continue to hear and share these things with you, we are eliminating one of your excuses. We're eliminating it. You cannot say you did not hear it. You cannot say you did not know. So we are taking away that excuse from you. If you hear it and choose not to do anything about it, then there's nothing more we can do. Because we brought it to you. We're bringing it to you every Sunday. And if we're bringing it to you and you choose not to heed the warning, here it is. We're in South Florida. What it is do we face every time of the year this year? We are now in hurricane season. So if you hear that a hurricane is on its way, it's 400 miles out, but you just decide that, you know what, I am protected, I am covered, and you make no allowance. The news, they tell you that it's on its way. So what are you going to do? Are you going to say it's fake news? Is that what you're going to say? Are you going to say it's fake news? So I'm just asking you. So here it is. So, wow. So let's move on along, because I feel like I'm meddling a little. So let's talk about two other things that people are saving for college. All right, you have the prepaid. Every state has a prepaid program, which is good. It is good. Like Florida has a Florida prepaid program. But what I want to make you aware of, the prepaid program has two factors to it. There's one part that's tuition only, and there's another part that's it's tuition, room, and board. So please evaluate your plan, because I cannot tell you the surprise that we have found where someone paid for the prepaid plan, and when their child is getting ready to start college, and then the university give them a bill, especially the first year, a lot of times they're going to live on campus. And then you get this bill from the university that you need $14,000 extra. And you're like, yeah, I have a prepaid plan. But your prepaid plan was tuition only. Your prepaid plan was tuition only. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to look at the plan that you have. Is it tuition only? Is it tuition, room, and board? So that's good. The Florida prepaid, and most states, all states have it as a prepaid program. But I hate to pour salt into the wound. There's another challenge now. So here it is now. You were so diligent. You were so diligent that you took out your prepaid plan, right? And then your child tells you they don't want to go to the state school. So what are you dealing with now? Here's your child telling you, Mom and Dad, I don't want to go to the Florida school. I don't want to go. I want to go to Georgia. I want to go to North Carolina. So you're thinking, oh, well, Florida gonna switch with North Carolina. Folks, it don't work like that. Florida prepaid plan is for Florida. Florida prepaid plan is not for North Carolina. It's not for Georgia. So you ask, what's going to happen? Well, two things can happen. They will either refund the money to you, or it can transfer to another student. So I just want you to be aware of that, okay? The prepaid plan. Man, the clock is just running. Let's get to the next one. We're gonna deal with this elephant in the room now. You know I was saving the big elephant for last, right? 529 plans. So there are two types of plan out there. You have a 529 plan, which is the most popular plan. Folks, let's be real now. Do you think because it's the most popular, it means it's the best? Let's face it. The 529 plan is a decent plan, but there are a couple of challenges with it, and I'm pointing it out to you. When the 529 plan started, what was happening where you have people, I won't call any names, but you have a lot of advisors who are telling people that, well, you're going to get 12% interest every year, so your money is going to grow rapidly. Let's ask yourself, or go Google it, has the market been 12% every year? The market is not 12% every year. So because the 529 plan, it's a variable plan, one of the challenge is that your money can increase as well as it can decrease. So keep that in mind. I don't want you to be blindsided. You don't want you to be blindsided. And the 529 plans. So you ask yourself this. It's just amazed me. A lot of times I share this information with clients and friends, and you ask yourself, okay, Hubert, you said it's variable. Oh, that means I can invest it how I want. No. Stop there for a minute. It's managed by a custodian. That custodian may have limited vehicles in it. Don't think you can just invest it. You hear your friend, the market is doing good this way, the market is doing good that way. But what if your 529 plan don't have those options? Do you see what we're dealing with? So it's not this where you just cross the T and dot this I. Because you got to know which T you're crossing, and you got to know what I you're dotting, because you may be dotting the wrong I and crossing the wrong T. So here's the challenge again now. The 5, whatever you have, you remember I spoke to you about that APA? Don't write back that formula down. Asset protection allowance, where it says to you the equity is used against you to measure the EFC, which is the expected family contribution. Guess what? The money that's in the 529 plan is used against you. That is included, because what the government is saying, if you have this in the 529 plan, you don't need any aid. You don't need any aid. So you could say, but Hubert, that's what it is. Yes, but what if I tell you? What if I tell you that same money that you have in the 529 plan, just with the guidance of a good financial planner, you could shift that asset. You could shift that asset, put it somewhere else, and it's not visible. I'm not telling you to do illegal things, but it's strategies. It's strategies. You guys hear people do taxes, and you wonder why some people only pay 13% taxes, and you hear another person pay 39%. And you wonder if the person that's paying 13% is doing anything illegally. They're not. They are just using the same code. And yes, I'm going to say it, a lot of you, instead of seek professionals, then what happens? You go and you said you're going to do the taxes yourself. You're going to do the taxes yourself. But sometimes you're doing the taxes yourself. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting yourself because you're putting numbers. You're filling out your FAFSA and you're just putting numbers and don't realize that the numbers that you're putting is affecting you. Oh my gosh. I hope I have shared, I know I've disturbed some of you, but oh my gosh, it's with love. It's with love. So the final two questions you ask for yourself. So which saving vehicle do I choose? It's a question you're going to ask. And then how much am I going to plan for? But I'm going to leave you with this. T-Bone Pickens. I don't know how many of you know T-Bone Pickens. You can Google it. T-Bone Pickens make a statement which is so awesome. T-Bone Pickens says, the man with a plan is better than the genius without none. So just by you being a genius, you don't have a plan, then you're just like a fool. So I just want to share that with you. This is Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness. I just thank you for joining us. Remember, visit us, financialliteracy.info. And next week, we're going to talk about life insurance and you. So evaluate your life insurance. If you don't have the smart life insurance, just like the smartphone, we're going to share some with you. So this is Hubert McIntosh. We are out. Thank you for joining us. See you next week.